come back.
The only other way that I thought about doing this was object-oriented, there's procedural, and then there's functional for the three types that I'm aware of programming. I thought about doing this as a functional way where you have keeping years as like one step.
All right, welcome to class, everybody. Happy Friday. Okay, let's quiet down, please. All right, so today we are going to review a little bit about inheritance, which we've been talking about this week, and then we will talk about polymorphism, and if we have time, we'll talk about command line arguments as well. So to start off, I just want to go back to when we first started learning about inheritance, and we had our credit card class. And so if we have our superclass credit card in this diagram, can anyone tell me what you would call a predatory credit card in relation to credit card? One of the ways. Yeah, you could call it a subclass, you could call it a child class. What keyword would be used when we are in the header for our predatory credit card? Yeah, extends, exactly. So when we are writing that class, we would say predatory credit card extends credit card. Also, because of inheritance, a predatory credit card would inherit all of the fields of credit card. But it also, because we defined it this way, it would also have its own field, the APR. And I would consider the charge method and the process month method to be sort of different in some way regarding inheritance. Can anyone tell me what the sort of difference between those two methods are? Or one difference? Maybe that's not a very clear prompt, but
From both the credit card and the predatory card, or for both the charge and the credit card?
So within predatory credit card, it inherits the methods of credit card, but we can see that within predatory credit card, we're defining two methods. And one of them is charge, and one of them is process month. There might be many differences between them. For example, charge actually takes in a parameter and it returns something, whereas process month doesn't take in anything, it doesn't return anything. But in terms of inheritance, I would say that there's also another difference between these two, and we can only know that difference by looking at the methods of credit card. Does anybody have any ideas what I'm thinking here? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So credit card, the parent class, has a charge method, but the predatory credit card overrides that method with its own implementation of charge. On the other hand, what might we say about process month? Yeah.
It's a method only for predatory credit cards. It doesn't apply to
Yeah, exactly. If I instantiate a credit card, it's not going to, just a credit card, not a predatory credit card, it's not going to be able to call the process month method because that's not defined for a credit card, it's defined for predatory credit card. On the other hand, something like get account, I'm going to be able to call get account for both credit card and predatory credit card. Same for charge, but like we said, it's going to have a different implementation if we're using a predatory credit card. Cool. So those, I think, are some big ideas for just our general inheritance. What if credit card was an abstract class? Can anyone tell me something that would be different if credit card was an abstract class? Sure.
Is that methods that you'd have to define in its subclasses?
Yeah. there could be some methods that are not implemented. And can anyone tell me how in our code how we would specify what those methods are? Any other hands? Yeah.
Wouldn't you just use the keyword abstract?
Exactly. Those would be when they're declared. When we write them out, we would use the keyword abstract. And then, would there be any difference in how we actually, in the header for the predatory credit card class? I'm seeing a nod. What would be different?
It's not interprets, it's implements keyword.
I think so. I think it's actually extends still for abstract. I should double check this but you're getting ahead of us a little bit. But regardless, we can double check it because where's our example of okay, animal.java was otter. Yeah, so it still extends, but this is perfect because, so when we're extending abstract classes, we still use, or inheriting from abstract classes, we still use the keyword extends. Here we had from our last class, otter is a subclass of animal. Animal is abstract. So you mentioned the keyword implements. When do we need implements? Anyone? Yeah, I guess but yeah. Exactly, when we're using an interface. And yeah, exactly. Yeah. And can anyone tell me what is an interface? Someone I haven't heard from today yet, maybe? Could be fun. Friday. Yeah.
It's kind of like an abstract class where you can't directly call it, but it has no concrete methods.
Yeah, exactly. So it's similar to an abstract class in that we can't instantiate it. So I can't make an instance of animal. But with an interface, none of its methods are implemented. And another thing about interfaces that I may have not pointed out as strongly, they don't even they're so different, I guess, different enough from a class that we don't even call them, interface classes or anything. We just call them interfaces. So when I am writing the header for my an interface, I'm going to use the word interface. I can't say class here. It's not equivalent. This has to be an interface. And then when we want to inherit from the interface, we use, and here I have photograph. Photograph is a class, but it's implementing the interface sellable. And so we can think of abstract classes as somewhere between a concrete class and an interface. Okay, so that was hopefully a sort of broad review of what we've done for the last 2 days. Are there any questions after that? Okay, great. So today, our goal is to continue thinking about object-oriented programming, and we're going to talk about polymorphism, but first, so that we have some more code to work with, I guess I wanted to go back to day 8. So that we have some more code to work with, I actually wanted to give us maybe 15 minutes to write, to do this additional exercise from this day. So if you already did this, you're ahead of the game, but you can just remind yourself and do it again. So remember, we have a predatory credit card implementation that extends credit card. And so what I want you to do is we'll at least start the file together, but we're going to write another class called airline credit card that inherits from credit card. It's got some additional fields. It's going to need a constructor. And then the most challenging part of that is going to, again, override the charge method. So just like we did for predatory credit card, we want to have a special charge method for an airline credit card. And then we have a basic getter method, get miles. So I'm going to just do this back in my day 8 package, but you should, if you don't have this code kind of ready to go on your machine already, you should be able to just get creditcard.java. I guess that's all you really need. You just need creditcard.java, but I think I can just go over to my, I'm going to close everything that I have open because it's from day 9. I don't know what I did here. So I'm going to go back to day 8, where I already have creditcard.java, and I'm going to make a new class. I can be fancy, and I can say that its superclass is credit card. And then I'm going to have some stuff built already. I did not try this before, but I'm going to do it now. Let's see. Okay, so all I got for free was airline credit card extends credit card. And yeah, so we will just take some time to work on this. If you are stuck, feel free, ask people next to you. Also, I can come help, but ask someone next to you before you ask me for help. But we're just going to work on this for a little bit, and then we'll come back together. Yeah, do you have a question?
I have a question about other stuff. So in doing the abstract classes, and so one of the things that came up was that it's really used for security and basically preventing people from getting data from other classes. But I can't really see that use. Do you have any references, or would you be able to directly, outside class to something to kind of understand that a little bit better? I just haven't seen a use to know why would we not just copy paste all the code from that one into our other classes, if that makes sense.
You mean in terms of why making it abstract?
Yeah.
Making it concrete and still using inheritance, but well, actually, in throughout the class where as we're building data structures, we definitely will use abstract classes.
Cool. Just have.
I think because
Yeah.
you, in a way, you just want things to match conceptually.
Yeah.
In your implementation, I think, as well as you can to what you actually want to go on. And so if there's no reason that you should ever implement, say, an animal, but you do want to have these subclasses, then it's better to make animal an abstract class.
Okay. Yeah.
If there's nothing, that's one reason. The security, I would have to look at.
Totally.
I would have I would probably be able to find stuff better than you would, so I wouldn't even know.
No, I just trying to without seeing use cases because it's kind of we learned the math now, but we don't know why to use.
A lot of the inheritance examples are kind of silly.
Yeah.
But as we're making our data structure, definitely.
Okay, cool. Hold tight. Wait for. Yeah. Now I'm gonna airline.
Yep. Our stuff.
just like other credit, you know what I mean? Like it seems kind of so like. So you have our predatory credit cards. So we have credit cards. Then we have a brand new few. What those annual structures is are not so this is
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you still have a couple more minutes to work on this, but I realized one thing, since we didn't actually get all the way through predatory credit card in class, although I do have the code here, the final version of charge for the predatory credit card, which is kind of like the nice version that the book has. One thing to note is this returns a Boolean, also I guess not. So what I'm trying to say is, as you are implementing airline credit card, and as you're doing charge, take a look at how predatory credit card.java does it, and also note that it's not predatory credit card, it's credit card.java. We might not have done this in class, but the final implementation of charge returns a Boolean, so this tells you whether it was successful or not, right? And so you might be able to use that to know whether the charge actually happened and inform whether you should add the miles or not. So, just a hint in case anyone was stuck there.
I was just going to ask, like, when you're overriding a method, is it just the name of the method that overrides it, or is it the fact that it has to be a public Boolean charge to override those?
So definitely the parameters, the input needs to be the same. What we would call the method signature, which is what returns and what goes in. Public and private, I would have to look that up. But
Just my IDE, I can change it to a public void. My IDE still says overriding it, but then if you click on the error house, it's not the same as the
yeah. Yeah, I guess for now I would make it a Boolean so it matches the credit card.
You can always do control S.
Here you're saying set airlines to is that what you want to think about? Yeah, and you're passing in an airline. The little or you can change this. Yeah. Or you can change that.
I have all this in terms of trying to first case.
So you're in airline. So in this one, we don't have an airline in the credit card. So you can't put super. Yeah, you only use super. That's yeah. So that's one option.
Well,
This so it's supposed to work like airlines.
When you construct it, I think we just give it the airline the miles as the fee. I think that's right. And then yeah, those are the super.
No, the super.
Yeah. So you need to declare all of the variables in your airline card that the airline's going to have.
In
Yeah. You don't have to declare them there, but so they're fields. I believe you can just initialize them, but if you like try to call them, they return like a no value. That's why I think I'm not positive on that.
I no.
Yeah. But when you super it, then you need to have all the stuff that goes into the construction because it's really just taking that argument, and then you need to have that stuff defined for sure. Otherwise, it's going to throw in your question.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. It's all.
okay, we're going to come back together and we will write this all together so that we can then use it to talk about polymorphism. So I've got my airline credit card file here. So if we remember what we need to do, I remember there were two fields. Can anyone tell me what my two fields are? Yeah, and I think we said they're private. So one was an airline, and one was a double. All right. Oops. Okay. Great. Got our fields. Okay. What else do I need? I guess I'll comment this just for organization. What's another thing that I'm going to need? Yeah.
The new constructor that's generic.
Yeah. Constructor. Great. And would you have the syntax for that for me?
Super.
Okay. Well, how do I even? What's even the header for it?
Public airline credit card, parentheses.
And then yeah,
Everything.
bunch of stuff in there.
With two additional elements.
Yeah. I kind of like to just copy this over from the other one. So this is my credit card.java. I'm just copying it because I know that I have to have a bunch of stuff in there. Did this one? No. And then I also need a string airline and a double miles, right? Okay. So then you were going to tell me how...
Then you use the super to inherit.
Yeah, the actual I guess I can type it myself. Okay, so I'm going to pass in the customer, the bank account number, the limit. Oh, and I missed the balance in here, right? I also have I forget the type. It's a double. Okay, thank you. Double init val and init val. I need a semicolon. Okay. How about someone else want to tell me how do I deal with these other two? I got these two were my new parameters, and what should I do with those? Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Now I've got all of the data for I can instantiate an airline credit card object, and it's got all the data. So that's good. And then, let's see. So for methods, I like to start with the easiest thing first as a warm-up. So get miles seems pretty darn easy. I'll even just write it for us. So we don't need, oh, we do need to return something for miles, huh? It's a double, because miles is a double. We don't need to take anything in, though, and then we're just going to return miles. Great. That seems right, although do stop me if something seems wrong, because you never know. Okay, so now let's do the hard part, I think, the charge method. So this should, let's see. Really, what we should do is only charge if enough credit, and then if we do charge, update miles, right? So it's an airline credit card. It gives us miles for spending money. So did anybody encounter any problem? Was there anything hard about writing about this method? I did get one question about, okay, I want to check if there's enough credit. And when we did that for credit card, we had to we had this nice if statement. If the thing that you're trying to charge plus my current balance is greater than the limit, then I shouldn't charge, and otherwise I should just do it. But what would happen if I try to access, here I go in my airline credit card, what would happen if I tried to access the limit variable in the limit field for the credit card that I'm inheriting? Am I going to have any problem? Yeah. Yeah, it's private, so I can't actually access that. So, there are changes that I could make to my program, but there is a better way to do it. Hopefully, at least some of you got there. So my charge method, since it should override my credit card's charge method, it should have the same method signature, right? So I'm going to need it to be public Boolean charge. It should take in a double. And so I'm going to do that. Oops. Double amount. Okay. So what's going on? Oh, yeah, we're going to need to return something. We'll get there. All right, so any ideas for how I might proceed here? Yeah.
Well, you still probably want to use the original charge from credit card.
Yeah.
So since they're under the same name charge, you can call it using super dot.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I want to call the super.charge, and I want to charge the amount. So what's this going to give me back? Exactly. No, you're great. You're great. It's going to give me a Boolean, and so I can save that as a variable. I'm going to call it isSuccess, just because that's what the predatory credit card also called it, and it makes a lot of sense. If this charge was a success, then I will get isSuccess is true. And can anyone, if this is returned true, what will happen to my balance on my airline credit card? Yeah, it'll be, the code in credit card will have run, and so this will have executed, and my balance will have increased by whatever I passed in. Okay, so that's great. So how else can I use this to update my miles field? Anyone that I haven't heard from today? Got an idea for me? Or just like, what do I want to do? You don't even have to tell me the code. Yeah.
When you call that, is that actually going to charge it?
Well, you tell me.
It's assuming, like, if you called an if statement and you wanted that boolean, you didn't save it as a variable. If you called super.charge amount again, would that charge it, or would you only get the boolean out of it?
What do you think?
I think it would charge for like
Yeah, so I mean, so we don't have to save the result of this. Like, we could just call this. And it would execute the superclass's charge method. And so what does that do? We pass in, like, amount is some double. Like, it's some double. We pass in that double to this method, and it executes this code. So under what condition does it make the charge? Because I can't answer your question exactly. Like I can't say it's always going to make the charge or it's always not going to make the charge. Because the code doesn't do that. The code has an if statement in it, right? It's only going to make the charge if the current balance, the field balance, it's a field. If that balance is plus price is less than the limit, I guess, then it makes the charge. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. So I can still, where are we? Airline credit card. I can still call this even if I don't save the Boolean that it returns. Does that make sense? But it's useful to me to save it, right? Boolean is success is whatever comes back, because now I can use this to do what? To update my miles that I want to update. So I can say if it, let's see if I can remember my Java syntax. Maybe this has to be in parentheses. So if this was a success, I should update my miles, right? Miles plus equals amount. And then, okay, am I done? Yeah, I need to return something. And what should I return? What's that? Exactly, I should return is success because charge should return true if the charge was successful, and is success is exactly that. So I think this is a nice example of how inheritance allows us to write this clean code that reuses the logic. It doesn't just reuse the code from credit card, it's also reusing the logic in a nice, clean way. Great. So now that we have an airline credit card, hopefully you have airline credit card, you have creditcard.java in here, and then we also have a predatory credit card. So we can move over to, I'm going to make a new, I guess I already have polymorphism demo. This is also on the, I'm going to go over to today's lecture. So we have polymorphism demo.java. Basically, so polymorphism, I feel like you're going to hear this word a lot when we talk about inheritance. It's most important that you can write code that works more than you know this word. But the idea is that our reference variables can take different forms. So for example, in my polymorphism demo, just like in our credit card demo, we can declare a, can anyone tell me like what what this line is doing? What would you say that this line right here is doing? Yeah.
It's creating an array of credit cards.
Exactly. It's creating an array of credit cards, and that's familiar to us. We did that whenever we first learned about inheritance, or maybe when we first learned about objects, whenever we created our first credit cards when we were baby Java programmers. But now we are more advanced Java programmers, and we can do things like put in the 0th position, the first slot of our array. We can not just put in a credit card, but we can actually put a predatory credit card in there. And I think this could potentially be confusing because, wait, didn't we declare the array to be of type credit card, but now you're putting a predatory credit card in there? But basically the rule is, through polymorphism, you can substitute a subclass of the class, as long as it's a subclass, not a superclass, that works. And that's why, let's see, if I run this, oh, nothing happens because I'm not printing anything out, but Java's not yelling at me. First off, I'm not getting any warnings, and then also I'm able to run this, and I don't get any runtime errors or anything like that. I had this line here commented out in case we didn't implement airline credit card, but we did. So just to throw another wrench, like I said, we declared this as an array of credit cards, but I can put in slot 0 a predatory credit card, in slot 1 an airline credit card, and in slot 2 a credit card, and that is fine. Because we can substitute children for their parents. However, this bit of code is showing, oops, oh no. I don't know why I can't uncomment that, but I can always do it manually. This code is showing how we can't go the other way. I can't make an array of predatory credit card and then try to declare it of type credit card, or even if I do, so this would be nicer, but at least I can do this. I can make an array of type predatory credit card, and then okay, great. This one I'm not getting any angry red lines underneath it. Because I'm just putting in a predatory credit card. But then I try to put in an airline credit card, and that doesn't work because airline credit cards and predatory credit cards are both children. They're related in a way, but they're not related as in the right way for our polymorphism to work. Same thing, I can't go up. I can't declare type predatory credit card and then put a credit card in. Are there any questions about that? You will get practice with this in the next lab where we're going to be using interfaces, but you'll use the same variable to refer to all the different subclasses that you define to implement your interface. And so you'll see how that can work. But yes, this is one of the important things. I guess one question, just sort of logically, if I were to, coming back to my array of credit cards, where one of them's a predatory credit card, one's an airline credit card, one's a credit card, and remember we've written different charge methods for predatory credit card and airline credit card. Even though I declared this originally of type credit card, if I were to call charge on my predatory credit card, which charge method is it going to call? Is it going to call the parent or the predatory credit card? Yeah, so the rule is going to be that we'll use the most specific type that it can be, even though we can sort of, it can feel like we're mixing them, but exactly. Yeah, so that will be all for this week. And we'll talk about command line arguments next week. These actually aren't in any assignments coming up. It's just kind of a good thing to know. So you should be good to work on everything that's out there right now. Come up and ask questions if you have any, and have a good weekend.